Hello there, you guys, and welcome to this video today. This is a three-part series that's going to be coming out to you about how to play in an ensemble and how to tune, not necessarily play in an ensemble, but how to deal with tuning in an ensemble, whether you play in a band or a string quartet, or you're playing duets, or you're playing with a piano, or you're playing with another string player, whatever it is, playing in a group. As string players, we really are constantly thinking about intonation. It's just the nature of our instrument. We have to find the note and we have to find it as accurately as we possibly can and make sure that it actually gels with the other people that we're playing with as well. So this is a three-part series. This video, we're going to be talking about the importance and how to tune, the importance of tuning and how to tune. On your own and also in your ensemble. And then in part two, we're going to be talking about things you can do in your practice to help you practice tuning against a pitch, because when we're in an ensemble, it's not just our own intonation, it's the intonation of the group together and being able to listen and adjust and make corrections on the fly. So part two will be slightly different. And then part three will be just talking about how to tune as an ensemble, which we might actually touch base on just a little bit today in today's video, but it'll be talking about some warm-ups that you can do, or even just the idea of doing a warm-up with your band or your ensemble or your friend if you're just playing with another person. So anyway, let's get started. So in this video, we will be talking about tuning. So you really need to be as precise as you can when you tune, because if you're slightly out of tune, like let's say you're slightly sharp and your partner's slightly flat, now you're really out of tune together. So if you happen to play your open strings, you know, if you both play the open D string, it's not really going to sound very good. You're kind of approximately in tune, but if you play it together, you're far enough sharp or flat that it doesn't sound very good. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab a tuner, and you can download an app. There's lots of apps out there, but you need to also consider what frequency you're going to be tuning to. So the tuning for the note A has a little bit of a range. If you want to play like really old Baroque music, not that we always tune this way, but like an old Baroque tuning might be to tune the A to 432. Whereas today you can see I'm tuning to 441. A lot of orchestras tune to 440 or 441, or it depends on where you are in the world. But just knowing that this is something to think about is key as well. So pick a frequency that you're going to tune to. I'm tuning to 441. And then as a string player, you would just start by tuning your A string, and you're going to get it as precisely as you possibly can. So let me see if I can show you. We'll just do a little yoga moment here. So I'm going to hold this for you. And you notice I'm actually playing quietly, because if we play really loudly, it disturbs the frequency. So, whereas if I'm playing it quietly, it's a little bit easier for it to be read, the accuracy of it. So there's the A string. Let's check the D string, because I'm on my viola today. And the G. So you can see that one's coming up just a hair. Is that sharp? It's backwards for me. So sharp. But it's pretty close. I mean, if it was really sharp, you would see that it's hanging out over there quite a lot, but it's forming on that in the middle point quite a bit. Could probably adjust that one. And then the C. So even though the light over here is coming up a little bit flat, you can see the line. right, so that precise. I would probably go back and see if I can get it a little bit more accurately if I possibly can. Fine tuners really help. If you're an advanced player, you'll notice that the advanced players don't really have a lot of fine tuners. They usually just have one. They just look also a little bit clunky visually. But there's actually pegs out there that you can, they're amazing kinds of pegs out there that are actually very easy to turn. They're kind of like a guitar peg in a way that it just never slips. I don't know what those are called, but they do exist. So you could upgrade your pegs and make your life so much easier when it comes to tuning, because sometimes what happens is we're using the pegs and then it slips, or we can't really get it super accurate. But there are pegs out there that do exist that you could actually upgrade to. And one of these days I will do that for my little viola and violin. So you would do that on your own. And then if you're in your ensemble, you would then get together to collectively and just play all of your open strings together at the same time, quietly. And you might have the lowest voice start it, for example. One of the reasons, I mean, you could also have the violin started if it's just a quartet. Usually the violin will start it. But actually, there's something to be said for having the lowest instrument start the pitch to build it from the bottom up. Because we're always tuning to the bass. You want to be tuning to that lowest pitch that you hear, because the lowest pitch is what everything else is kind of built upon. Music, and like if you think of a musical structure, it's from the bottom up. It's not from the top down. So anyway, so that's how I would kind of recommend that you go about it in your ensemble, is have your lowest pitched instrument begin the note for you, and then you just slowly, everybody kind of add their pitch quietly and sustain it for a little while. Make sure it sounds unison and very beautiful, and just do that for every string. All right, so your job this week, if you would like to take it on, is just kind of being more aware of your tuning. Make sure that you know that your tuner's set to a particular pitch and that you're really, really accurate with the tuning. Extra brownie point, which we didn't really talk about, is the fact that our strings can be played two at a time, sustained two at a time, and so you would actually want to make sure that that sounds very good too. Versus, let me just make it a little flat or sharp. I'll make it a little more so you can hear. Hear how that doesn't quite sound right? So check your open strings in a fifth by just playing them together. So thank you so much for watching, and if you have any tips or tricks or ideas to share, feel free to comment them below, and I'll see you next time where we talk about part 2, some tips for your practice.